So this game is called the game of feelings and physical sensations. I had this idea especially because of coronavirus, but not only, right? It is a period where there are a lot of emotions and sometimes negative feelings involved, and where, in fact, newcomers, not only newcomers, people are feeling quite isolated and frustrated. Yeah? And handling with these emotions in a positive way, it's not really easy, even for specialists. So anyway, so here's the game, here's how it goes. Okay, so it is an intercultural communication and personal leadership game for newcomers, but also for international students and expatriates. It is designed to foster awareness of our feelings and physical sensations too, and an awareness of what triggers such feelings and physical sensations and how they impact us, how the influence that they have on our lives, the direction of our lives, but also our perception, our judgments, and our relationship with the others. It is also designed to foster an awareness of how culture shapes the way we express, perceive, control, and respond to our and others' emotions. And also how we can become better, I call it leaders of our life. We can be more in control of our lives and vision, let's say, where we want to go to, if we cultivate mindfulness, positive emotions, physical well-being daily. Now you might say, what vision for newcomers? Of course, they're like us. Okay, they also have, it's like everybody else. In fact, we could be newcomers tomorrow if there was a war. Yeah. So, and they also have the dreams and the vision about what their future should be like, but sometimes they're blocked by very negative experiences and feelings. So this game is also designed then to encourage listening to others, to develop empathy, curiosity of others and other cultures, and intercultural communication. So now what inspired me to design this game was because in the past year, I implemented this methodology by Barbara Scaietti, which consists in two principles and several personal practices, which is titled Personal Leadership, Making a World of Difference. And this while teaching an intercultural leadership course to exchange students. But while teaching this, I did realize that there were many common traits, right? That my students were in full culture shock most of the times, and that they in fact never stopped being stuck in the communitarianism stage, so to say. They didn't really often get out of their comfort zones and mixed up with other people. And this because of their feelings, the way they were feeling very often, yes. And even though we were implementing this method, it was still difficult for them to deal with their feelings. So I thought, okay, great, this could be really useful for my refugees when I work with them, or asylum seekers. So, and also then, of course, what inspired me was working as a volunteer with associations, helping newcomers, and also hosting asylum seekers and refugees. In fact, I've been hosting them with my husband and family, refugees and asylum seekers. And this has been a life-changing experience because it did let me have an insight into what they experience while here. And especially how they struggle with and are blocked by negative emotions that are triggered very often by culture shock, amongst other things, and the difficulties of adapting to the new culture and lifestyle that is suddenly imposed onto them. And also, thanks to this experience, or not, I want to say thanks, but because of this experience, I have seen newcomers often experience severe depression due to their losses. Some of them, in fact, well, one of them told me that he had lost his brother while he was there, and his brother's son had died as well. And also struggle for survival, experience feelings of rejection due to discrimination in the host country, and also identity-related issues. So, which has pushed me, which pushed me to design then this game to try and empower them and help them control more their emotions and feel better if they can in their lives, so that they can actually control it. So it is a board game which is modeled on the game of the goose. So I try to choose a really easy game, yeah, because I don't want to have anything to be too complicated to explain. It can be played online using Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Players click on the link, this link that you have so that you will find in this file that you will receive, yes. And once you access the game, players play it in groups of 4 people each in breakout rooms. A lot of time, I said about 30 minutes, it can be 20 minutes. Okay, so I'll give you 30 minutes, but if you get fed up with it, we can stop before, okay? But I would say it's actually designed to last a lot longer. It can last up to an hour, in fact, it's quite long. I guess you will get to about a quarter of it in that period of time. So one team player shares his computer screen and sound and acts as the game master facilitator. Then she will roll the dice by clicking on the dice. Yeah, this is an electronic dice. Yeah, for himself, herself, and other players. Now, for you to know, this works on mobile phones too. Yeah, so. But in any case, since only one of you will be the game master, if you're accessing this session via mobile phone, I advise you not to, and just let someone else be the the game master, and he will deal with the common board of the game. And so anyway, so this is what the game master will have to do. He will have then to roll the dice for himself and the other players, move the checkers on the corresponding squares for them, and click on the icon. It displays if there is one on that square. So this will open up a window on the screen, and the player concerned will have to read out the question and follow the instructions. It's very self-explanatory. Okay, once you understand that. It is very important that you have just one person appointed to facilitate the game, right? To facilitate the game, so to say, and move the checkers on the board. Yeah, otherwise it won't work. Yeah, okay, right. The aim of the game is to win by placing one checker on the goal square, which is the last one.
So we are back. All the other people are back from the breakout rooms, and we are eager to hear, of course, your observations and your experiences right now. Yeah, and there are also the comments that, you know, people learned a lot about participants in the group, so it's really fun, and it triggered a lot of exchange between the group members, definitely. So yeah, thanks to Julia and Michaela, the game was fun. Really, really nice comments. And there is also one participant, Renata, who is raising her hand and would like to also share her comments. So
yes, please, Renata. Yes.
Yeah, I thought I'll do the proper way, raise my hand.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you very much for sharing that. I immensely enjoyed playing the game and getting to know the other participants through this exchange, and that's the whole purpose. So that's fantastic. But I also have to say that I'm a person who loves expressing emotions. So this is right up my alley. This is something I love to do. So obviously it was a great thing to do for me, for someone who loves to express emotions, who loves to see others do the same. However, I would be very hesitant to use it with, let's say, with cultures that are more, let's say, emotionally restrained, that have an issue of showing an emotion in public, or who just their personality is very shy. The same topic we were talking about earlier on, but I can see how this is very relevant to what you call newcomers to Italy, because that's what they see on a daily basis, and that's what they probably need to get accustomed to as soon as possible. So this is a great way for them to see, this is what people do, this is how people show emotion. So if you wanted to accustom someone to a culture that is very emotionally expressive, that is an absolutely fantastic game. So maybe we could look at it from that perspective.
Right, I was hoping to show you another game, yes, which was in fact the version for migrants and asylum seekers and other newcomers, in fact, that we have designed for France based on the diversity range, yes, to include questions in this game which were about the French culture as well as the different newcomers' cultures. And we developed this game as a team, okay, interculturalists as well as different refugees, yeah, and asylum seekers. So it was the fruit of communal work. You will see the name of the authors there, the main authors there, and translators. So I will, if everybody's got the file and can open it, you can then have a go in your rooms and in your oh sorry, breakout rooms, couldn't find the word, yes. Have a little look, a short look at the game. As I said, about 8 minutes. Here is an example of cards. So we have the diversity share cards, which enable you to share. So for instance, here we have this question. In Syria, a typical breakfast would be eggs, olives, cheese, and tea. What would be a typical breakfast in your culture? As you can see here, the questions have been translated into Arabic and into French too. So people who don't know any English can use one of those languages if they wish. Okay. Okay. So now, okay. So, is there anyone who'd like to share here about breakfast in the country?
So maybe I can share a short anecdote with you, because actually it was always a funny point with my husband, who is originally from Germany, and he has normally, you know, croissant and roll and just something sweet for breakfast, like Nutella or jam or something like that. And in Poland, people love ham, love eggs, love cheese and tomatoes, all of this stuff that is savory for breakfast. So once when we went to the mountains, people told him, Helge, it's his name, you need to eat ham and sausages and all this stuff. Otherwise, nobody will respect you. So, you know, this is completely, you know, insane how much impact such nuances can have on, you know, on this cross-cultural yes, meetings. And it was really, really fun. Of course, everybody was laughing.
So I just wanted to know in general how you feel about using such games in an online setting. Yeah, some of you have already underlined the limitations, perhaps, of them. So I can see that Katarzyna has put her hand up. So
just a quick question.
Yes.
Is it a game that you can only play in France with the immigrants? Is it connected to the French culture, or can you also play it in Switzerland?
Oh, you can download it for free because this has been preliminarily created for humanitarian use, right? So you can download it for free from the Diversity website. Yes. So you can use it too. I used it with my American students and invited some refugee students to participate in the classroom with them. I've used it with international students of diversity management class. Yeah. So students of different nationalities. Yeah. And I invited two refugees, one Afghan refugee and a Syrian refugee. And usually when I use it this way, it is a pretty memorable event. Most students say that it's the best, it's the best activity of the year, because they actually never get to know refugees, asylum seekers, and sometimes even we even have like right-wing people who leave the room completely well, either in tears or very moved. And this game is perfect for creating bridges or sensitizing people to other cultures and open their minds up, or the spirit to other cultures.
Okay.
And if there are some refugees, okay, if there are refugees and asylum seekers in your session, that will make it. It will enable real exchanges.
I'm just asking because there is a big project in Switzerland. It's at a university, so it's called UNES, and or run by UNES, and they put Swiss students with immigrant students, so from Arab countries. So they made a kind of mentoring tandem with the people. So and I was thinking about a game, if it would be suitable one to use and to get each other better.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, of course, George.
This game exists in Finland, it exists in Norway, it exists in Denmark. Several others are underway, and I offer you the invitation to create one that fits your country, climate, culture, and the kinds of immigrants or newcomers that you receive. So just be in touch with me. We can help you create such a game.
Okay. Thank you, George.
Okay, thank you very much. George, do you happen to have the link to download the Anchors game? Could you put it in the chat room?
The Nouveau Repairs?
Yes, if you have it offhand by any chance,
I
right?
just have to go to my website to get it, because
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what it is. Just give me a second here, and we will go to.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at the questions in the chat room. So maybe there's just one I'd like to answer: how the feeling game connects to personal leadership. Yes, I had a slide ready for it, but since it was getting late, I skipped it. But yes, it's mainly because the whole idea is to help the players realize that, well, first of all, acquire self-awareness of one's feeling, which is one of the main elements of personal leadership. But then the next step is to get them to understand that if they, once they understand how their feelings and physical sensations influence them, the impact that it has on their judgment, on in general, on their lives in general, and how they can block them or unblock them, and on how we can leverage positive feelings instead to make our lives move towards a different direction, on how we can work also on our physical well-being in very sometimes cheap ways. In fact, the last question, there was a last question in the goal box, which is about it. Okay, now I cannot show it to you, but really the idea is to help them actually acquire the awareness that they can actually work on it, even though they are in this very difficult situation. They can always find ways of leveraging the positive feelings and putting themselves in a situation of physical well-being by taking a walk, by going to the beach, or by just doing something they enjoy, and not let themselves be overwhelmed by their negative emotions, which would otherwise steer them towards the wrong direction, so to say, that will deprive them of the energy they need actually to make it in their lives, right? Okay, so that was a bit maybe quickly said because it's late, it's getting late, but right. So if you have any further questions, just one more question maybe, and then I will leave. Are there any more questions?
So Grazia also Seppi there says that she's really happy to help everyone who works with refugees if she can.
Okay,
This is fantastic. So thank you very much for this generous offer also here.
Thank you so much. If you can, well, anyway, we will copy all the comments in the chat box. So that would be very helpful, actually, because I think it's only by being united as interculturalists that we can actually help refugees. I guess most of you working with them are working for free. You know, sometimes, yeah, people also get paid for this kind of work, but mostly it's unpaid work. And if we can just share our common work, that would be great, which is why I'm very happy to share my tools. And if anyone has other tools that you're using, I would be very happy to hear from you. So unfortunately, the session is over, but perhaps those who are interested can let me know, and we can maybe form a chain of interculturalists who can then share resources, keep in touch. We already have a migration special interest group, yeah. Which is, I think, led by Joe. I think
Joe Kearns.
Sorry, yeah.
Joe Kearns.
Joe Kearns.
Joe Kearns. Yes, exactly. Yes. So right. Anyway, let's keep in touch and let's keep sharing about resources. I hope this was useful. Yeah.
Yeah, there are many, many thanks words. So everybody who is still on the call, let us unmute and clap for Grazia for this fantastic session. You are right now the loud audience. Thank you.
Really, really good.